Welcome to all, welcome learners. Today I am going to discuss with you in the program of NIOS related to the topic business studies. I myself is Dr. Piyush Prasad, academic officer in accountancy and looking after the business studies also. Today we have invited in our studio as a guest Mr. S.S. Sehrawat, who is a retired Deputy Commissioner Personnel from Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. Sir, we welcome you in our studio. Learners, as you all know, there are different forms of business organizations. No business can perform their work without any type of organizations. So, we would like to learn with him what are the various types of business organizations, what are their features, their merits, their demerits and their suitability one by one in detail, so that before starting up any kind of business organization, you should be well aware that what type of business organization you should choose and which things you should not choose. So, we start up with our first question. Sir, please let us know and our learners what are the various types of business organization that exist in our society.
I would like to thank NIOS for giving me an opportunity to be present here on this occasion, and I warmly welcome all the learners and other viewers, the learners who are associated with NIOS in pursuing their studies at the secondary and senior secondary levels. And as you know, business studies is a very important subject, a very important area which plays an important role in the lives of everybody. Now, when somebody wants to start a business, then the first decision which one has to take is about the form of business organization he want to have. Large number of forms of business organization are available, and one can start a business taking into consideration the various aspects of starting a business, like the availability of capital, the risk which one wants to take, the number of persons he wants to involve with him in the business, the governmental or statutory rules which has to be followed, and so on. And taking into consideration all these aspects, one decides that what form of business organization shall be most suitable for him, taking into consideration his limitations, the availability of resources with him, and the area of his specialization or the area of his knowledge.
Sir, would you like to please inform our learners regarding the term sole proprietorship, as I think many of our learners are going to be aware from the general market as they came to know that there is a person who is working in his business. So, exactly what is this sole proprietorship, what are its features, what are its advantages and what are the limitations in performing this kind of business?
Right. You know, sole proprietorship or sole tradership is the easiest form of business organization. It is termed as a one-man show. That is, a single individual is the owner, manager and the risk taker of the business. This person contributes the capital from his own resources. He runs the business as per his capability, his capacity, his knowledge, and he takes the whole risk which is there in a business. And if the business earns profit, because business is always undertaken to earn profit, if the business earns profit, the whole profit belongs to him, and if by chance unluckily he suffers losses, then he has to bear all the losses. So, when an individual wants to have control over the business, he wants to start a business on a small scale basis, he wants to contribute the capital from his own resources and is capable of and wants that in case of any losses, he will bear the risk of the loss, then sole tradership form of business organization is most suitable.
Sir.
One thing more, this is a form of business organization where no governmental rules, no statutory rules have to be followed. One can start it without taking any approvals from the government. The only thing is that in some cases there may be some local acts, municipal acts or some shops and establishment acts, wherein according to the provisions of those acts you have to get your shop registered, otherwise no legal formalities have to be followed for starting this type of business. The only thing is that the limitations are that you can start it on a small basis. When your business expands, you require more capital, you require more people to help you in taking right type of decisions in different areas, maybe finance, maybe marketing, maybe distribution and other decisions. So, if the business is to be started at a small level, maybe a small shop, a grocery shop, maybe the local shops which are there in the residential areas, this type of organization is most suitable.
Sir, so keeping in view all the things that you have told, this is the one which is the most easiest form of business organization that can be started by anyone as an individual, but still it has got some limitations which you have pointed out, ki as it is considered as to be a one-man show, there will be a problem related to the limited capital as well as the size of the business is going to be small.
Right.
Now, sir, please tell us, our learners, that what is the other form of business organization if someone would like to do a business on a little bit elaborate basis where they need some large amount of capital as well as the manpower requirement is also going to be large. So, what could be that other form of business organization?
Mr. Piyush, you know that as I explained earlier, one of the major risks in sole tradership form of business organization is that in the cases of loss, the whole loss has to be borne by the sole trader. And what happens is that even there is legally there is no difference between the sole trader and his business. So, in the cases of loss, even the personal property of the owner may also vanish during the course of business if he incurs losses on a continuous basis.
So,
one thing more, if he requires more capital, if he requires the help of other people who can help him in running the business, and if his business is expanding, then another form which is slightly better than the sole tradership form of business organization and which overcomes many of the limitations of sole tradership form of business organization is a partnership form of business organization.
okay.
And you know, in the case of a partnership form of business organization, people can come together, may enter into an agreement. The agreement may be an oral agreement or a written agreement,
Okay.
and they may decide to share the profits of the business. And here in this case also registration of the partnership firm, when all these people, the people who join hands to have a partnership form of business organization, the individuals are termed as members and the organization is termed as partnership firm. Now, these members of the partnership firm, they pool in their resources, their capital in an agreed manner. Their liability is limited only to the extent of their interest in the business. They share the profits of the business in a particular ratio, in a particular way as has been agreed among themselves. And but at the same time, no doubt that registration of the partnership firm is not required, not essential, But a registered partnership firm has more advantages, a large number of merits as compared to an unregistered firm. Take for example, an unregistered firm cannot sue the outsiders for any claim, but a registered firm can sue. It can go to the court of law for taking the reliefs under the different contracts which they have agreed with the outsiders. Even the agreement, inter se agreement between the partners can be enforced if the firm is registered. But the unregistered firm does not have all these advantages. The provisions of an act which is called Partnership Act. In India we have Indian Partnership Act, which was enacted in 1920, and the same act is being followed in our country right now also. And according to the provisions of these act, the firm has to be registered, and before registration of the firm, the partners have to enter into an agreement. A written agreement is termed as partnership deed. Okay. Now, in this partnership deed, the all areas of concern, all areas on which the partners have agreed are put in black and white. What will be the name of the firm, how many members will be there, what are the addresses of the members, what amount of capital individual members will be contributing, and what will be their jobs in the firm, how many of them will be the working partners, how many of them will not participate in the business of the firm, who will take what types of decisions, and all these things are given. And not only this, what can be the circumstances under which a partner can leave the business, what will be the occasions on which the firm can be wound up, can be dissolved, and all these. Now, this partnership form of business organization has many advantages as compared to a sole tradership form of business organization, since the number of partners as per the Partnership Act can go up to 20. So, the capital contribution will be large, because individual partners will contribute some amount of money towards the capital of the firm, and that becomes a comparatively larger amount of money. The liability of the partners is limited. It is limited to the extent of their interest in the business, that is to the extent of their profit sharing ratio. And the beyond that, in the event of the firm incurring losses, beyond that liability, limited liability, the partners cannot be asked to contribute more towards the losses of the business. That is, their private property cannot be attached, cannot be used for meeting the losses of the firm. Decisions, no doubt that in the case of sole tradership, a single individual has to take decisions, so he may take, he is in a position to take quick decisions, but at times his decisions may be wrong or may not be that appropriate. In the case of partnership firm, the partners unanimously have to take decisions regarding the business of the firm, and their individual knowledge, their specialized knowledge in different areas, it helps the firm in taking right type of decisions. So, and you can have you can have the business on a large scale basis. So, what happens is that even when a sole tradership form of sole tradership is expanding, that may be converted into a partnership form of business organization.
Okay, thanks a lot for this information, sir. As you know that our country is dominated by the Hindu families. Still, right, in many parts of the country, there is a kind of system where we call it as a joint family system.
Correct.
Only the elder member of the family is going to have the business activity, and rest of the members are going to assist him. Sir, correct, I would like to know, and our learners would like to know in this regard, that what is that system of joint Hindu family that exists in our country, with its features and merits and demerits. As you know, there are going to be pros and cons of each and every coin. So, still this system is also going to have some same kind of things. So, what is exactly this joint Hindu family business?
Dear learners, it is a form of business organization which is very peculiar to India. It is a form of business organization wherein a child, a male child who takes birth in a joint Hindu family, he becomes the member of the business by virtue of his birth in a particular family. And this type of business is owned by the members of the joint Hindu family, and the eldest male member of the family, he manages the business and he is termed as Karta. Now, Karta is the person who manages the business, he takes all the decisions about the business, and his liability is unlimited. This is peculiar. Now, what happens is that large number of business organizations, large number of business units in our country are run on this pattern. The business passes on from the parents to the children, and so on, and there are more than 100 years old business organizations who are run as a joint Hindu family business. At times what happens is that in the case of disagreement between the Karta and the co-partners, what relief is available to the co-partner? Take for example, the co-partner is not interested in doing the business, in continuing with the business. He is not happy with the decisions taken by the Karta, and so on. There may be many other reasons. Then what course of action is available to the Karta, to the co-partner? A co-partner cannot interfere in the decisions taken by the Karta, but he can ask for his share, for the division of his share in the business. That is the alternative or the course of action available to the Karta. And these people, the co-partners, whether they are majors or they are minors, they go on getting the benefits of the business right from their birth.
So, there is one limitation which we came to know is related कि only a male child can take a part in the joint Hindu family. Is it so?
No, now a decision has been taken that even females can also become the members of a joint Hindu family business. So, this is a revolutionary step which has been taken, and now even female members of the family, joint Hindu family, can become the members of the partnership, the joint Hindu family business.
As we are well aware, a modern concept coming up in the market related to the cooperative societies. You know कि these kind of cooperative societies are existing everywhere in our market, with the related to the goods which are supplied in terms of the housing cooperative societies, in terms of various financial institutions and banks which are running on a cooperative basis. So, right. What is exactly this cooperative societies?
Actually, learners, what happens is that when people have some common interest, profit maximization is not their basic aim, but to provide the services to the members, they join hands and form a society. And these types of societies are termed as cooperative societies. And these cooperative societies may be started taking into consideration the object, the common aim, the common goal of its members. Maybe the farmers of an area may come together, may start an agriculture cooperative society. They will pool their resources together. You know what has happened in our country, that over the years, because of subdivision of the land, the area per capita area of land has reduced, and we cannot use modern means of cultivation, or we cannot opt for mechanization of agriculture because of the small holdings of individual farmers. Definitely. So, the farmers pool together their land, and they use the mechanical devices for doing agriculture on a scientific basis and earn the whatever whatever profit is earned or whatever cultivation is done, the benefits of those that profit goes to the individual members according to their contribution of land. Similarly, in urban areas, take for example, people have to face a lot of problem as far as housing is concerned. Housing is a very big problem. So, people who want to have their individual houses, they come together, form a housing cooperative society for the purpose of making available houses to the members of the society. And one advantage of this is that government gives lot of grants to the cooperative societies, to different types of cooperative societies. Even in the area of your savings, members of a locality may form a thrift society by which the small savings of the members are converted into larger amounts, and then that amount can be given on loan to the individual members to meet their various requirements. So, different types of cooperative societies are there. Maybe another, the marketing cooperative societies are there, wherein the produces of the farmers or the the products of the producers, maybe industrial producers, maybe farmers or other types of producers, they form a cooperative society just to market their products. Because they may not have different that type of machinery or that type of network which is required to do the marketing of their products throughout the country or throughout the world. So, a cooperative society may be formed, a marketing cooperative society may be formed, and through this all the producers will be having the benefit of the facilities which have been created by the marketing cooperative society. So, this is a very good form of business organization, wherein people with common interest join hands for the purpose of achieving their common objectives.
Is there any limit for maximum and minimum number of members in cooperative society, as we have discussed the same in terms of the partnership, in terms of sole tradership?
Yeah, in the case of sole tradership, a single individual is the owner. So, if the number of owners increase beyond one, it will not remain a form of business organization, a sole tradership form of business organization. In the case of partnership, the minimum number of members should be 2, because for entering into any agreement, any contract, 2 people are required, and the maximum number can go up to 20. Similarly, there is limit to minimum number of members as well as maximum number of members in the case of cooperative society also, and that has to be followed as per the Cooperative Societies Act. There is a Cooperative Societies Act, Central Cooperative Societies Act, as well as there are different Cooperative Societies Act state wise also in different states. So, accordingly we have to follow the requirement as far as minimum member and maximum number of members are concerned.
So, in general we can say that minimum number of members in case of cooperative societies should be 10, and maximum, as you say, depends upon the type of central or a state, it is supposed to be unlimited.
Yes.
As well as depend upon the various rules and regulations.
Right.
Sir, would you like to tell us, our learners, in very brief, related to some companies? This is another form which can be left aside regarding all the forms which we have discussed. Please discuss something companies also.
You know, company form of business organization is the most modern form of business organization. The contributions in the form of capital is from large number of people. There is no upper limit. Large number of people, they voluntarily join hands to form an association for doing business, and the very good features that their liability will be limited. The cooperative, a joint stock company has a perpetual succession, it has a common seal, and the most modern techniques of production, of marketing, of distribution are utilized, and there is separation between the owners and the management. That is most beautiful thing in a company form of business organization, that professional managers normally manage the business, and they may not be the shareholders of the company, they may not be the owners of the business organization. These people are professional managers who manage the business, and since the liability of the members is limited, that is limited to the extent of their shareholdings. That is the maximum loss which a shareholder can incur, is the amount of money which he has paid in obtaining the shares of the company. Large scale business organizations, manufacturing organizations for manufacturing petroleum products, your petroleum refineries, for automobiles, for other types of manufacturing items, the organization of business organization is the company form of business organization, because huge capital is required, experts are required to run the business, and micro level specialization is required.
So today our learners have came to know a very informative kind of things related to the types of business organizations. Our experts have discussed in lot detail related to the sole proprietorship, partnership form of business organization, joint Hindu family, cooperative society and companies. So now this we can expect that before you go for any type of business organization, you will take into consideration their merits and demerits, related to which you can decide which is going to be the most suitable form of business organization to you. Sir, on behalf of NIUS, I thank you very much for coming to our studio and providing us such a useful information to our learners. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us.
Thank you, learners.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, संसाधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े,